Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today we're going to go over a collective haul of affordable and celebrity fragrances. Some of these are designer, but they are basically on par with the celebrity fragrances in terms of price. I will have another video that will be more designer and niche fragrances. I thought I would split it up in case you weren't interested in one or the other. These were purchased, I guess, in the last 6 months, more or less, not all at the same time. And I would say also that in the next few months, I'm definitely going to do a declutter because I do not want to have more fragrances than I already have. I am overwhelmed by my collection at this point, and I really want to pare it down. This would definitely be my very first declutter. So if you're interested in seeing my very first declutter of all time, definitely subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so that you get notified when I upload that video. For now, let's just dive into some affordable and celebrity fragrances that I've added to my collection. So first of all, we have by Lolita Lempicka, this is Sweet. And I do have the original Lolita Lempicka and I do like it, and it definitely feels very retro, very 90s/2000s. And I like it for that reason. I do like it. It definitely gives me a nostalgic vibe. But back to this one, Sweet. It definitely still keeps that powdery DNA from the violets in the original Lolita Lempicka, but this is predominantly a sweet cherry fragrance. It has some cacao in it, some chocolate as well, but I mainly get that cherry and the mid with the iris. It has some angelica in there, which I don't really get, to be honest. I mainly get that Sarah cherry with the sweetness and some musk, maybe a bit of cacao, and of course that purple flowered powderiness from the iris. So very simple, very straightforward, very approachable, and honestly quite well done. Definitely a great value for the price as well, if you ask me. Super pretty fragrance, super pretty cherry fragrance. I'm gonna spray it again here. Yeah, a lot of that sour cherry in the opening. Super pretty, and like, to be honest, I didn't have too many expectations with this fragrance, so I was definitely pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. I do need to be in the mood for this. Already I'm not like, I like cherry, but it's not like my go-to note in a fragrance, and it still has that Lolita Lempicka powderiness. You know, maybe these are not all the notes listed, but it still gives that slightly old school vibe. Old school 2000s, you know. Basically, I still do get some of the old Lolita Lempicka DNA in this fragrance. There's no licorice in this one, of course, and you just have that musk and cashmere woods in the base. Very nice, pretty laid back, chill, gourmand, sweet cherry fragrance with some muskiness in there as well. Overall, I enjoy this. Is it my favorite fragrance of all time? No. Will it be? Probably not. But I'm enjoying it, and I plan on wearing it on occasion, and I'm pretty happy with this purchase. So that's Sweet by Lolita Lempicka. Next we have, this is by Guess, and this is Seductive Red. I was really excited about this fragrance when it came out because it was being compared to Cloud, Baccarat Rouge, you know, those fragrances with that sort of DNA, but this has a cherry vibe to it. And I will say, I have another cherry vibe fragrance that has been compared to those called Dark Cherry and Amber by Banana Republic, and I have problems with that one. Thankfully, this one is not like that one. This one reminds me a lot of Cloud, but with a cherry vibe. Yeah, definitely more Cloud with a cherry vibe. I really like this fragrance. I really like wearing it on nights in, at home, when I want something that's a little bit more sweet and gourmand, but still similar to Cloud. So it has that airy spun sugar sort of quality to it, but it's definitely heavier on the sweet gourmand edge in a cherry almond sort of way. It definitely still has some vanilla in there as well. So a beautiful gourmand sweet vanilla cherry fragrance that has that similar airy quality that Cloud has, and of course Baccarat Rouge, though this does not smell like Baccarat Rouge, you know what I mean? But like, so many fragrances have become imitations in a way of Baccarat Rouge, or not imitations, there's a lot of imitations. I would say more have obviously been inspired by Baccarat Rouge, and this is one of those. but definitely more of a young, youthful, sweet cherry almond vanilla spin on the spin of Baccarat Rouge, right? Because I'm talking about cloud. It mostly, out of all fragrances I've smelled, smells more like cloud to me. Cloud, but instead of that like coconut, praline, whipped cream-ness, you're getting cherry, almond, vanilla. You know what I mean? I do think I'm getting a little bit of that violet in there as well. Overall, totally satisfied with this purchase. Extremely affordable. And this is a 100 ml bottle, I believe. Yeah. And if I didn't have a massive collection to, you know, like, I'd be so happy to have this fragrance. This is a really good, affordable gem, in my opinion, if you like cloud or those types of fragrances. So that is Guess Seductive Red. And just between the two, if I had to pick one, you know, I mean, I would pick Guess Seductive Red. It's just a little bit more modern. Sweet definitely has that Lolita Lempicka vibe to it, which is a little bit more retro. To me, Guess Seductive Red is a little bit more, has more of an addictive quality to it, in my opinion. It's very close to cloud, like I said, you know, so I mean, and I love cloud, so I would go for Seductive Red if I had to pick between the two for a cherry scent. And I would say Sweet by Lolita Lempicka is definitely more powdery. I would say this one is a little bit more nutty and gourmandish while still having a little bit of freshness to it. Yeah, it has that je ne sais quoi from cloud, you know, so this is the one I would go with between the two. But different vibes, different vibes. Both cherry scents with different vibes. That's Guess Seductive Red. Next up, we have a fragrance by Ariana Grande. This is a fragrance that I smelled in stores to see if I liked it because I have a flanker of it and I really, really liked it. And I smelled a couple different flankers and this is the one that I wanted. This is Sweet Like Candy by Ariana Grande. I smelled this and Ari and I preferred this one, so this is the one I got. This has a equal dose of powdery gourmand notes and lactonic gourmand notes, which you know I love. So this is just an easy, casual, sweet gourmand fragrance to me. So definitely has that Ariana Grande DNA in there, like that she has in all of her fragrances. But I just love this. It's just very, very like cozy and cuddly and likable to me. I still get some juiciness in there from the black currant and the blackberries in here. Definitely getting that black currant. And of course that whipped cream and marshmallow just all come together. It's just very, very pretty. It's very cuddly. It's cozy. It's yummy. It makes my mouth water. Very feminine, of course. Very sweet in a princess feminine sort of way. You know what I mean? That kind of feminine. Very youthful. And yeah, this just feels very cuddly and cozy to me. Great bedtime scent as well. And yeah, my son accidentally broke this off and I somehow managed to still put it back on there. But I really like this fragrance and I'm really glad that I got it. It's a very like easy reach sweet gourmand fragrance to me. I love it. Sweet Like Candy by Ariana Grande. Next up we have another fragrance by Betsey Johnson. I say another because I got BETSEYFIED by Betsey Johnson maybe last year. And a few of you mentioned this one and a lot of people like this fragrance, so I thought, okay, I'll get it, even though the bottle's very hideous to me. But this is often compared to Viva La Juicy, but much more affordable, of course. I think that is very accurate. It's just definitely more ambery to me. Yeah, it definitely feels more ambery to me, and I also get a lot of that red apple in this fragrance. So what's similar would be the white florals and the praline note in here, but it's heavier on the amber for me, and the woodiness and the fruitiness in that apple. So very nice, casual, easy reach. I would say that I like this one and BETSEYFIED. Might like BETSEYFIED a little bit more in terms of scent, but this one is a little stronger than BETSEYFIED. So yeah, but I do think this is a great affordable gem, especially if you like those kinds of fragrances like Viva La Juicy. Like I said, just a little bit maybe fruitier in that appleness and a little bit richer in the amber quality to the fragrance. But all around, very easy to wear. I wore this quite a bit when I first got it to test it out, and then ever since then I haven't worn it. And I don't know, you know, like it's not necessarily something I'm going to reach for all that often, I don't think, because it's quite generic in its scent profile. Like I've smelled this before, it's not particularly unique, but that said, it's a lovely scent. It's very nice to smell. And if you're on a budget and you want to have a plentiful bottle of something that smells sweet, gourmandish, but a little bit more ambery and fruity, this is a good one to have, a good one to own, and pretty good quality for the price, I would say. So that's Betsey Johnson by Betsey Johnson. I do think this one came out a little while back as well. So maybe that would explain why. It does smell a little bit, I hesitate to say dated, because I still smell this kind of scent around me, but it does feel, you know, you guys, everything that's from like 2010, 2012 is starting to smell or feel dated. You know what I mean? Like, and in some ways more dated than maybe some fragrances in the 90s in some weird way. You know, I think that's what happens with trends, is that because we smelled these like just 10, 15 years ago, they feel old, whereas much older fragrances maybe feel a little bit more retro, which is a little bit of a euphemistic way of saying old or vintage or nostalgic, you know what I mean? So yeah, this feels a little bit like a fragrance from 10 years ago, but it's good for what it is. And I definitely will wear this when I don't really know what to wear and I don't want something that's going to project too much, but I still want to smell nice and sweet and appealing, and yeah, I just want to smell good. I'll wear this. So this is Betsey Johnson by Betsey Johnson. Next up, we have a celebrity fragrance flanker that I think was kind of hyped up recently, and I wanted to know what the hype was about. This is the flanker Midnight Fantasy. I think I have Hidden Fantasy. Which one do I have? I think I have the regular Fantasy or Hidden Fantasy. One of those two. I think it was Hidden. Anyway, this is Midnight Fantasy, which features a cherry plum almond note, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a little bit shampoo-y in the fruitiness. I get the cherry, but I get a lot of the plum. And to be honest, plum is not one of my favorite fruity notes. I was hoping I would get more of the cherry almond quality from it. I get a lot of that plum in there. And to be honest, I haven't worn this since I got it. I might have worn it once. I'm not sure. I just haven't gravitated towards it. I do want to give it a chance because it does have a lot of rave reviews. People really love it. If you follow Lisa Snow, go check her out. She's the sweetest, and she also has the sweetest voice. I love listening to her videos just for her voice. She really likes this fragrance. And actually she partly influenced me in buying this definitively. I think she actually is probably the one who like solidified my decision to go for this fragrance and try it out for myself. But it's not a bad fragrance. It's just a little bit more plum than I would normally like. But it does have a nice shampoo-y edge to it. Shampoo-y fruity, you know? Definitely not very gourmand in my opinion. So yeah, sorry, it's not almond, although it can be. There is an almond accord in here because cherry takes on an almond accord as well. If you haven't seen my almond video already, I explained that a little bit there as well. But yeah, definitely get more of that plum in there, but it's fun, it's fruity, it's sweet, it's juicy, a little bit shampoo-y, definitely vanillic. So, you know, I need to wear this more. I think that this would be a nice gym fragrance if applied lightly because it has a little bit of that shampoo-y vibe to it. Little note, by the way, I'm going to a new gym recently, and the entire, the whole change room, I thought it was my imagination the first time, and then the second time I was like, hey, no, it's definitely it. It smells like Cloud by Ariana Grande. So it seems to be the gym fragrance of choice. And I can't complain. I love smelling it in the dressing room. Though I will say, I realized going back to a new gym that I really don't want to smell it's probably the one environment where I'm the most conservative with my perfume, which I think makes sense. Like, you should be. But yeah, just worth noting, because even fragrances that I thought were really soft, I found myself being like a little bit paranoid about like smelling too much, you know what I mean? But then when I went in the locker rooms and I smelled cloud everywhere, I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Everyone's dousing themselves in cloud. I'm not going to disturb anyone. So yeah, maybe for the gym, I will try this out in small quantities. Next up, we have another fragrance that I've been wanting to try for the longest time that has quite the following, quite the hype, and originally I think Alithia from The Simple Chic Life definitely raved about it a lot, and I definitely was intrigued by it because of her. And this is Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. The main reason I never got it until, I'm gonna wait till there's an airplane going by, I think. The main reason that I never picked it up until then, until recently, is partly because it's supposed to be very similar to Narciso Rodriguez for her, like the original black bottle. And I have that fragrance already, and I love that fragrance. The main reason I never talk about that fragrance, by the way, on this channel, even though I absolutely love that fragrance and I think it's a classic, is because I wore it to death in my early to mid 20s. And so it almost feels like it belongs there for me in my own personal fragrance story. You know what I mean? Like, it feels funny to wear it now for me, even though I think that once I get sick of all my other perfumes and want to go back to something that I used to wear, that will be probably like one of the first fragrances I reach for. It's a beautiful fragrance. So it's very similar in that muskiness. It definitely does smell a lot like it. Mainly I find from the atomizer like this. When I spray it though, it's definitely more sharp and less potent, less strong. Yeah, when I spray it, I definitely don't think it smells as much like Narciso Rodriguez, but definitely the dry down is very similar. Now, the reason that I did pick this up finally was because I initially bought Lovely Sheer by Sarah Jessica Parker. And this is one that I was so disappointed by the performance. And I'm not a performance snob, you guys. Like, I don't need it to project all the time. I don't need my fragrance to project all the time. It doesn't have to have massive sillage. But this was just almost non-existent on my skin. But I love the way it smells from the atomizer. It just had a very soft, cuddly musk scent. And I was really looking forward to smelling the more lactonic edge in here because there's some gardenia, but I just didn't really get that. I really mainly get that citrusy musk. And I really like the musk in here though, y'all. So that's, you know, why I'm like, I really like smelling it from the atomizer, but I feel like I would have to spray half the bottle to get that same scent on me. So I was wondering, okay, this is Lovely Sheer. What if I try the original Lovely? Although the original Lovely has a lot of lavender, so it's quite different. Well, it is quite different. Lovely is quite different because of that lavender. It's also woodier and just generally denser than the Sheer version. I think Lovely Sheer is maybe just that creamy musk. I just wish there was more of it. It definitely has too much of a sharp citrusy alcohol element to it. I think it's just a citrus, but really maybe it's just there's more alcohol as well. So I will say the original Lovely is definitely a better performer than Lovely Sheer in all ways. It has definitely better projection, better sillage, better longevity, but I still need to experiment with both because I do like the scent profiles of both of these fragrances, and they are quite different, even though this has like a similar base, you know what I mean? This is different because it has more going on. It has the lavender, it's more woodsy, it has the patchouli. It's just a little different, you know what I mean? but both of these are cozy, cuddly, very clean, casual fragrances. Definitely would be appropriate for the gym, and actually maybe that's where I'll experiment with them more, especially Lovely Sheer for the gym. I'm going to try that out actually, and hopefully it'll be perfect for that occasion actually, because I don't want to wear my more expensive fragrances to the gym, and for the gym I really do want something that's a lot more sheer and less noticeable. So I will try that out, let you guys know how that works out. Please let me know if you've tried either one of these, what your thoughts are about them, if you've managed to try both of them, what the differences are to your nose, and if you like them. All that, let me know. So that's Lovely Sheer by Sarah Jessica Parker and Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. And then last but certainly not least, we have a fragrance by Oscar de la Renta, or Oscar de la Renta. This is Ruby Velvet. This is an underestimated line, underhyped. I really love Midnight Orchid, I think it's called. The one in the black bottle. Beautiful, beautiful, very approachable rose vanilla oud fragrance. Fruity rose vanilla fragrance with some wild strawberries in it. For some reason it's impossible to find now. I don't know why. But anyway, so I was intrigued by the other from the line. They're all in these bottles like this. They just have different colors. This is one that I found for a good deal in the last few months, and I have to say, I don't know how much wear this is going to get, mainly just because I think I'm over this sort of scent profile. So this is actually a very pleasant fragrance. Some people say it smells like La Vie est Belle. Some people say it smells like Flower Bomb or a combination of that. I really would say it's like a mishmash of all those fragrances that were really big and iconic about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. It's very well done, and if you like those fragrances and you want more of them and you want an affordable version, I think this is a great one to have. It has that iris sweet patchouli from La Vie est Belle, but it has some other qualities from other fragrances as well. A little bit of a flower bomb quality as well, maybe because of the florals in here. Yeah, definitely similar, more similar I would say to La Vie est Belle, but a little bit different, you know what I mean? It's not a direct dupe. It's like a mishmash, like I said, of all those fragrances that came out 10 to 12 years ago. Very well done, extremely good value for the price as well. This is a 100 ml bottle, and I think you can find it for $20 or less, maybe $30 maximum. And yeah, the only complaint I have is that I think I'm just over these fragrances, these scents for now. They're good. And I still love Flower Bomb, and I still love La Vie est Belle Intense. That's my favorite flanker. That one's discontinued, unfortunately. But I do appreciate that this is much more affordable than those fragrances. Both of those fragrances, those designer fragrances, are very expensive, are on the more expensive designer end of the price ranges. So great find for that. I just don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of this anymore, you know? I just don't gravitate towards the scent profile anymore. Very sweet, definitely more like La Vie est Belle. Sweet patchouli, and I mean, I'm sure there have been a lot of celebrity scents from 10 years ago as well that have resembled this, but it's well done for what it is. It's well done. Very pretty, very sweet, very gourmandish in the floral aspect to this, and powdery as well. Sweet patchouli fragrance, you know, I think we know what those smell like at this point. A good one, not necessary to have, I wouldn't say, if you already have those in your collection, but if you don't, or you ran out and you want another one, great find. That's Oscar de la Renta, or Oscar de la Renta Ruby Velvet. So there you have it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know if there's any affordable gems out there that I need to get my nose or hands on. Let us know down below as well. Share the good scents that we all need in our lives. I hope you enjoyed that. Like the video if you enjoy this sort of content and would like to see more from me in the future. You can also subscribe, and of course, course, ring that notification bell if you want to see part 2 of this collective haul, which is my more designer and niche fragrances that I've added to my collection in the last 6 months. Thank you so much for watching. Until we see each other again, take care of yourself. I'll see you very soon. Bye.